Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
Tomorrow is opening day.
This morning, didn't have a great hunt. Deer didn't move like usual.
We just got set up in the middle of this bedding thicket. We've been saving this spot from the rut.
I think it's a nice buck.
Boom! Hits a 170.
That was money. I think he's down right over there. 10 yards.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy.
Baller rut. Whitetail Legacy Podcast coming at ya. Oh boy, you guys are you're in for it this episode, man. What do you think?
What are we really doing?
I don't know.
What
man.
are we doing?
This episode was incredible. Incredible. I mean, just blown away. I mean,
when we say next level, this is what we're talking about right here.
Motivational, I mean, just incredibly motivational for us. So many questions to be asked and answered.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and just Robbie is just a rock solid dude.
Yeah.
And with a voice like that, man, I mean, he needs to have a podcast. That voice would sell itself.
Right.
He could just go in there and talk about nothing, and people would be like, I got to listen to this. But we talk about, like, people telling a story and how we connect to that. This guy can tell a story. I mean, and he shouts out some people that are helping him, but this guy knows how to break people and get the good stuff out. And he even did that to us on the podcast without even trying, man. He's over here breaking me down. I'm getting goosebumps and stuff, you know? And this, I don't know. You guys just check out Blood Origins, man. If you want to pause this episode right now and go and watch an episode of Blood Origins and then come back, that's probably a good idea.
You should definitely do that.
Yeah. Real quick, we want to get in and say that yesterday on his page, he wants content from people. He wants to try this out. He wants a 5 to 10 second clip.
I think he's 5 to 15.
5 to 15 of what hunting means to you. I'm going to send him in the pic of my son finding a shed. Video, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to send him a video of my son finding a shed because that's like the most memorable, thing I've had happen in the outdoors with my son yet. And me instilling the outdoor passion in him is kind of what I'm going for. That's what it means to me. So he's wanting stuff like that. He said it could be working with a dog, working with your kids,
checking trail cams,
whatever makes you want to, whatever gets you out there to hunt is what he wants. And he's going to put this all together. He'll give you credit for your videos, and it's going to be on an episode. That's going to be a sweet episode because he said there might be people from South Africa, Germany, China. I mean, everywhere. All sending them stuff, and then you realize that everybody's out there kind of for the same reasons, probably. You know what I mean? When it all comes together.
It'll just be different background and ethnicity and stuff like that, but the message will be, very similar, I think. That's
going to be awesome to see, but oh man, Robbie blew us away on this one. This is a freaking awesome episode, guys. So we're going to get through the people that make this possible pretty quick on this one. It's the middle of the week on this episode. We both got to work. I got to be at work at 5 a.m. That'll be a 4 a.m. wake up for me. Homie's probably going to go in about 9.
Yeah, right.
He's got them banker hours.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to start off with Ingram, guys. Don't forget Ingram when you get that buck down. I know we got a lot of local people in this area that are listening. Give him a shot, man. Go check out what he's got going on. Check out his Instagram. Check out his Facebook. Call the dude up. Go in there and check his shop out. See what he's working on. He's definitely got it going on. The last buck he put out looked incredible. I mean, he's just getting better and better every buck he puts out. So when a guy can gain from deer to deer, he's learning a lot and putting out an incredible product that's going to last forever, unlike the buck I got on the wall with the loose antlers. So
You want me to touch him because he's right above me?
Yeah. No, we're gonna hit ECW calls. I just talked to Jeff. He's getting all pumped up for hunting season, building shotgun blinds. His shout out to his son just went in and did his sign up for the Navy. That's super cool. Jeff shared the pictures with us. Father and son, both Navy. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. Shout out to Jeff for his service. Yeah, don't forget ECW calls, grunt tubes, duck calls. I just had a buddy of mine pick up the Whiskey Barrel duck call. I mean, that's a pretty custom product you're gonna get anywhere. So don't forget ECW and all your hunting call needs. I can't wait to be grunting in a 160 this fall with the Whitetail Legacy podcast grunt tube.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to talk about for the scent lock? What do you want to cover? I think we should cover the new suit that you won.
I was going to say, can we do that?
So homie won a suit. Let's just end it at that. I didn't win anything. Shout out Scent Lock on the drawing of the names on that. I think there's like 9 homies in there.
No, they did put a guy's name in there 6 times.
Yeah.
My name was in there once, and I won. So I won a full season or a full suit. It's the Revenant. It's their newest late season suit. It's all fleece, and
that never wet technology sounds sweet to me because
never wet.
I have that fleece late season suit. And when it gets damp, you can feel it. It's just soaked. Yeah. So that never wet technology that's gonna be super cool.
They have the never wet on it. It just beads up, and then it's also windproof by construction.
I know that blew me away too when I watched that video.
The fabric is knitted so tightly that the wind cannot pierce through it. Instead of just having like an extra layer to where it would crinkle. Or, just add more weight, or your range of motion would be limited. It's just all built in right into the fabric. So I can't wait to get this suit.
Yeah, it's the Revenant, right?
The Revenant.
Yeah, so check out the Revenant if you're looking for a late season suit for the guys here.
And it's a bib. It's not a pant. It's
I know,
it's
that's
a bib.
solid. I love
that.
bibs, man.
I love bibs, too.
I love bibs. That's super solid. I'm so
jealous.
jealous.
Last year when I switched, I did the pant thing, and that was the first pants I ever owned.
Bibs are the way to go.
And because I was always a bib guy, now that I get the
chest,
late season bib.
You get that chest warmer. You know what I mean? That extra chest warmer. I love that. All right, let's get into the mega, the OGeagle, the VIP. He's a second OG, right?
He is.
Yeah, he's a second. He's been with us from the start, though.
Yeah, he has. He's been a big booster of us.
Yeah.
Since the start, I think even before the start, really.
Yeah, can't thank Matt enough for everything that he does. VIP. Check them out, man. They're at Walmart. Get them while they're there, man. They're selling out quick. I keep seeing posts all the time on people.
Last pack.
They're
not here.
Yeah, and they're all over trying to find them. So get them while you can. They are at our local Walmart in Galesburg if they still have them. I know we bought a couple packs from there.
Yeah, I would say they're 2 down just from us.
Yeah, so don't we think of it? We get a lot of questions. So let's just shake this out right now. We get a lot of questions about is it really worth it? We hear that a lot. And I want you guys to understand the stuff that we're repping. We're not going to waste our time repping something that we don't like. We don't get enough cred from these guys to do that. You know what I mean? So the Veteran is 100% worth it. I mean, that thing is a rock solid broadhead, and I think we should limit it to like one tip when we talk about the Veteran, or one thing about it for a while, so it really dwells in people. So I just want to talk about it's renewable. It's reusable.
Yeah.
It's we talked to one guy and he's like, well, I said, well, what are you shooting? He told me, he goes, well, I said, are you going to use it again? Well, no. It's a one shot.
A one-timer.
One broadhead. That's not the Veteran. This thing, shake it up, wash it out, break it apart if you got to, clean it up, and go again. A buck, a doe, and a turkey last year, same broadhead. I mean, and I want to push the limits this year. Like I said, I want to go on doe patrol because some properties need it, and try to get some on public. Almost let that out. Oh my gosh, my secret public spot I almost let out. But I'm gonna try to put some does down just to get practice filming. I got a lot of people that asked me to shoot does this year for them. Super excited to do that. I'm going to push the limits of a veteran and see. I bet you I can get 3 or 4 does with one before.
Oh yeah.
Before I feel. And then the best thing about it, replaceable blades. So I mean, that shaft isn't going to bend. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we're going to get into our VIP veteran broadhead shout out. We got Damon J. Tripp. He was a staff sergeant for the Air Force. He won an outstanding achievement from August 23rd, 2005 to February 22nd of 2005. He distinguished himself by outstanding achievement to the military working dog handler. So this guy was a dog handler, has some incredible pics. He used his military working dog to conduct sweeps on a joint operation for Operation Everest. This guy used a dog to find bombs and contraband and weapons and stuff. So that's super incredible.
Man.
Super close connection with his dog. The dude is just a stud. He's a guy that you do not want to mess. You see his picture, like, no, you do not want to mess with this guy. This guy's legit. So we can't thank you enough, Damon. This guy is also a big buck killer. The last 2 years, he shot awesome bucks. He sent me some trail cam pics. Got some giants this year already.
Dang.
So his dad shot a giant, nice buck last year with a little flyer drop thing. Incredible. So thank you, Damon. We appreciate you sending in your VIP shout out for us. Can't thank you enough for your service and everything that you do. And I think he still has some German shepherds now.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's dog,
probably something that
dog passion's still in there with him. So
yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna get right into this episode. I didn't leave anything out, right?
No.
Okay,
no.
we're good. I got the word from the boss. We are good to go. We are good to go for Blood Origins, guys. Hang on to your seat. Enjoy the episode. And after you watch this, or after you listen to this, you're going to need about 4 hours of free time to watch all Blood Origins stuff, because you're going to want to. All right, guys, here we go. We got Robbie from Blood Origins on. Hey, man, thanks for coming on tonight.
Hey, buddy. Good, man. I'm happy to be here, and can't wait for the conversation. Again, I appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, and then we got Homie in studio, as always. He's over there flipping buttons and switches.
I'm here. I'm ready to go.
So, man,
that sends us off.
Yes, German and South African. That's an awesome mix, man. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes we have a hard time distinguishing voices on here, but we won't have a problem on this episode. So.
I don't think you'll have a problem. You know, South African and German, and there's the Australian side of me, but we don't like to talk about that side. That's the dark side of my family.
All right, we'll get right into it. I want to start off with talking about your first episode and how you went in to your note with your grandpa, and then you just told us about how he wrote down in books and stuff for you too. So just kind of go in and tell a little bit about your grandpa. I would have loved to meet him.
Yeah, he was an exceptional man. He was somebody that you would definitely label old school. He was stubborn. He was direct. He was everything an outdoorsman should be. You know, he was born in Russia in 1912. He said he lived the mecca of 2 hunting paradises that this earth had to provide. One was the Mongolian Manchurian steppe and the Siberian tiger, where he cut his teeth on red stag, duck hunting, goose hunting, pheasant hunting. I don't know if you'll ever find somebody, and I dare you to find somebody, I dare your listeners to find somebody who has hunted pheasants in China, can't hunt in China anymore, or even hunted pheasants in Tibet. This man did it, and he wrote stories about it. And so, you know, Blood Origins has a storyline narrative to it, and that's sort of the storyline that's in my blood that is carried from my grandfather. He moved to Mozambique, Portuguese East Africa, in the 50s, and then lived 25 years in the heyday of Africa in Mozambique. And my father was raised as a teenage boy in that environment. I wish I was born 35 years ago. 35 years earlier than when I was born. Can you imagine being raised as a teenage boy going into the hinterland of Africa for 3 weeks at a time? And your job, and my dad was here a couple of weeks ago, and he told me a story. He's not very much of a storyteller. He's very introverted, really. But he told me a story of his job as a young teenage boy in camp was to shoot meat for the camp. And so you would have to get up the earliest, because these guys were hunting, elephants, day-long slogs for elephants. And so my dad would get up, he'd go outside of camp, shoot an impala, bring the impala back to camp, and they would take the liver out of that impala that he shot that morning, and they would cook it up with garlic and onions for breakfast that morning for the camp.
Man.
And that was his job.
Wow, that's an incredible job, man.
And so my grandfather was this, and my father were these hunters, and they experienced hunting like you and I probably will never experience. Well, I'll retract that statement, because to me, what I'm experiencing here in America is essentially Africa reincarnate, because of what I didn't have growing up. And so I was born in '78, born and raised in South Africa, no public lands to hunt, no public licenses, didn't really hunt at all. And interestingly enough, my grandfather and my father never told us or spoke with us about hunting, because, and I haven't really answered the question why they didn't tell us. I can only surmise that it was because that it was gone. Mozambique had gone through a revolution in '74. Pretty much all the animals had been cleaned out, either from a poverty perspective or from a civil war perspective. South Africa doesn't have any public lands, as I mentioned. And so as a kid being raised in a big city, I wasn't exposed to hunting. Be essentially like somebody growing up here in LA or New York. But when I was 16 years old, I watched the VHS. And the VHS, the title of that VHS was called In the Blood. And it was Theodore Roosevelt's fourth removed grandchild. I think he's about 40 today. And he was using TER's double side by side, I think 600 nitro to shoot a buffalo. And I kept watching that film, and I just became obsessed with that film. And so, as a birthday present when I was 16, my grandfather said, "I'll take you on a trip." And I said, "I want to go hunting with him." And so that's what led to that letter. And I apologize it took me so long to get to this letter, but that's the letter that you see in episode 1 of Blood Origins. And I still got it. Like, I've got it in my hand right now. And it's typewritten on that old school rice paper. And really it just cemented home exactly, who I am. And it starts out by saying, "It was indeed a surprise to hear that you're keen to become a hunter. It must be, quote unquote, in the blood." And so that's where everything started for me when it came to this project, is that I've come to the States. I've got a family now. I've got 2 young boys. Everything and when you listen to the episode, I talk about this, in that what America has to offer, given where I came from, is not lost on me. And so the privilege of being able to hunt, and that's why I say in the episode I even say that I found Africa outside of Africa. I just happen to be in Mississippi, because hunting now is available to me. I can explore those roots, the essential DNA that's coursing through my blood, and it's so important for me to do that, because I want my 2 young boys to be able to experience everything that was denied to me growing up as a young boy. And let them make the decision when they turn 18 or whatever they make their decision, that they want to be hunters or they don't want to be hunters. So that's it. That's a good kickoff into what Blood Origins is there for you, man.
Yeah, man. Just even when you were talking, but when I was watching the episodes, especially, I get chills when the letter, is in the blood. I mean, that is just deep, and I mean, it's just, even with you just talking here, I got chills. I was like, man. And then going back when you're talking about your father, hunting Africa like that, I couldn't imagine as that being like my job. That would be incredible and extremely hard, I would say. I mean, you're in Africa. I couldn't imagine the amount of predators that are there compared to the United States, you know what I mean? So you're out there hunting by yourself as a young man, and I mean, you got some cojones behind you. Go out there and shoot one by yourself in the morning for the camp. I tell you that right now.
Well, not only that is, I mean, you're going out there and you're going out there to provide food.
Yeah.
Like, this is the only way that you're going to eat. So, you know, people in the hunting industry nowadays, you know, they got pressure on them to make a show and this and that. You know, back in the day, just like you're talking about, Robbie, that was the way to eat, you know? I mean, that's the real pressure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my grandfather, at one point, my father was born at this time, my aunt was born, they were living in Harbin in Manchuria, this is northern China, and he literally was a hunter-gatherer. He didn't have a job, and he was hunting for the pots. He was out of necessity being a hunter, you know, so he'd been there, he'd done that. He had to hunt and trap, essentially, to make ends meet.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. I know my grandpa did a lot of trapping for coon pelts, and that's how he made a living when they were in their heyday. It was all he did was trap and provide coon pelts, you know. So I got a little bit of that. I got a lot of stories of it. I didn't get to experience it because by the time I was born, the coons were, you know, pretty much worth nothing. But it's definitely awesome to sit around and listen to the stories of them and how, you know, just like back then in Africa, I'm sure the game was just insanely plentiful. Just like when he started hunting coons, he said they were everywhere, you know. So, so we kind of touched about blood origins there with your grandpa's story, but I just want you to kind of go into what it is truly about and what is the message that you're trying to send with your different videos.
Yeah, it's it's fairly straightforward. The Blood Origins is a storytelling documentary platform that is attempting to showcase the heart of who we are as hunters. And a lot of people have been asking me lately. It's funny. A lot of people have asked, like, what's the purpose? Like, you just asked me, what's the purpose? Why are you doing this project? We're not doing it to make money. We're doing it to showcase the true nature of us as hunters. It's showcasing that you may think, and when I say you, I mean the general non-hunting mainstream audience. You may think that we are this bloodlusting, hooping, hollering type community. We're not. We have depth to us. We have heart to us. We have passion. There's so many reasons why we hunt. It's for adventure. It's for family. It's for heritage. It's for escaping. It's for being in places that nobody will probably ever see or put a human footstep into. And it's to kill an animal. And it's in that order, essentially. In that we don't often, and unfortunately the industry has sort of forced the hand of the people that are in it. We don't often get to showcase the side of what we're trying to show in Blood Origins. It's all about, intro, shoot, close, and it's done.
Yeah.
We're not showing people hunting. We're showing the side of why people hunt. And it's, I wouldn't be on this podcast if it wasn't resonating, right? It's so, it's interesting. It's as if the outdoor industry doesn't know what to do with us. We're just so novel, right? We're outside the box. We have a message that sometimes it's almost uncomfortable, and we film it a little bit in that way that it's like, I want to keep watching, but I'm just like, in your face, right? And so we do it for a singular reason, and the singular reason is to reach across the aisle to a non-hunting mainstream audience to say, this is who we are. Yes, you're always going to have these guys way on the right that are going to hoop and holler, and they're going to showcase pictures of, a bloody deer, and with a big fist pump in the air and whatnot, and you're just never going to change that. But there's this silent majority of us that knows that there's so much beyond the kill that it's unfortunate that we denigrate our social media feeds to this one image of us holding a dead animal, versus there should have been 35 images prior to that dead animal explaining why you did what you did, why you were in the landscape, and that ultimate result was that animal. And then even post that animal, and when I post meaning after the animal, talk about or showcase what you use the animal for, the food, the skin, the memories. Are you talking about it with your kids, what it meant to you, kind of thing? That's what Blood Origins is. Blood Origins is the name itself explains the origins of our blood, the origins of who we are, and why we function the way we function as hunters.
Yeah, I got a couple things off of what you just said. I relate to that stuff, man. And when I watch your videos, every one of them makes me think, what kind of hunter am I? What kind of hunter do I need to be? Because I got two boys that are, hopefully going to be into hunting. What do I want to teach them? But one thing that I watch from your videos, and you kind of touched on, but you said it openly, the videos are for people who don't hunt, which I liked. I hunt, but I still enjoy your videos. But you are putting a incredibly good message and voice and face to people that don't hunt, that don't, maybe they're from the city, or maybe no one in their family does it, and maybe they're not against it, but they just don't know what it is. And they watch your videos, and they can say, okay, there's a lot more to this than I thought there was. It's just not a bunch of guys going out with guns and shooting a bunch of deer. They're feeding their family, they're teaching, they're making memories, and just like you said, people that don't hunt that I talk to. I work in the construction field, and there's still people that don't hunt, and I tell them, when you shoot a target animal or whatever, of course you're excited. This is what you've worked for. You're trying to achieve this goal, but it's like bittersweet because then the story ends. And
well, why wouldn't you tell that story though?
Yeah.
Why would? Here's a crazy idea. There's a picture of somebody smiling ear to ear because they have this animal in front of them. Why not explain what the smile represents?
Yeah.
People are associating that smile with the death of that animal. Why not associate the smile with what you just said? All the hard work, all of the effort and the time it took, everything. That smile represents a accomplishment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or even flip the script and don't take a picture of you smiling, but take a picture out of reverence, out of respect for that animal, and sort of flip the script to say, hey, I'm going to take a picture of me showing respect for this animal that it allowed me to take its life so that it can sustain my life and, my kids, my family, my friends, the people I give the meat away to.
Yeah, I feel you there. I think we need to do that, man.
Yeah.
I think
I was going to say, I know we had talked about, with our filming that we're going to be doing this fall, showing more of the food aspect and incorporating that.
Showing the family aspect, showing the food aspect, and just like you said, in the industry, just like you said, you're kind of like, they don't know what to do with you, right? Well,
right.
If we did that, I don't think they'd know what to do with it either, because there's no one out there that's doing it like you. But you inspire me to say, you know what, this is, in my mind, I just I automatically think that everybody's a hunter, right? So I just automatically think that people understand that instead of explaining it like you do. But you put the drive in me, man. I'm gonna make sure and explain that, because I know there's someone that's on my social media feed that isn't a hunter that maybe doesn't understand why, I'm sitting behind a buck I just shot or something. There's so much more. Go ahead.
No. Or I would say I would challenge you to, you've got to provide context and narrative to that piece. And I would then further challenge you to say, build a story wrapped around that image. Maybe even challenge yourself to say, okay, I'm going to post a picture of a harvest, but I'm going to do it in such a way that it's not the typical grip and grit. And I'm going to start with that post, and then you're going to sort of turn 360 degrees and say, okay, let me show you what it took for me to get to this point.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot, man. That's incredible. Yeah, because then you're reaching. I mean, you're not just showing the B-roll, bucks coming in, you shoot it, and then that's it. You get to show what everybody goes through that's never shown. You know what I mean? But
right,
which
plus,
the older I get,
plus you differentiate yourself from the 1,000 other intro shoot close pieces out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and Cody, I think we're on that path already with the stuff that we've been recording already. Us hanging stands, us getting both the boys out there, even if it's just walking around the piece, or getting them, to check the trail cam, get them up in there, show them what it is, and try to explain to them, hey, this is what takes the pictures that we look at when we're at home, So I think that we're definitely on that path, and I think that's the way we're going to go.
I think that's the way we need to go. I think you've just, me and homie been sitting around talking about how we wanted to do this, and we've been filming some stuff, and just talking to you, I think we found our path of what we want to do. I mean, we're both dads now, and the older I get, the more I relate to, when I was young, I wanted to see a big animal get shot, and that was it, but now I relate to the story. I relate to the kids being out there, or there's so much more to it than, 10 years ago when I was hunting, I was like, I just want to see a kill shot, and that's it. But I think people go through that stage, and then
absolutely.
I think if they seen, guys like you, and maybe if we can get something wrapped up, it's definitely not going to be as good as quality as you. Right. I can guarantee you that. We're going to give it a heck of a shot, but if we can get something like that and showcase it and show what you really go through, I was talking to homie, and I said, I told him I want to log the hours that I have in stand this year. I want to log that and put that out there. Like, okay, here's this animal that I harvest. Here's 100+ hours. To get there. Yep. You know what I mean? And that's something that we were talking about, and we wanted to keep a hunt journal. We're going to both do that this year. That's something we've never done. Just to show people. This was the conditions, and I hunt. This is my 40th day hunting or something. And build that storyline a lot better than if we just come in, kill shot, victory pose or whatever you want to call it, and then move on. So I really appreciate you coming on, man. I think we found a path that we want to go on,
Well, Robbie, one thing I want to touch on is, I shot a buck last fall, and I didn't find him right away, and, I've got a couple mounts at home on the wall. And when I was watching your episodes, one thing that just I kept thinking about while I was watching them was how much I wanted to bring that buck home to show my kid. And, because he's seen them on the wall, they're all nice and pretty, just sitting there chilling, hanging out, and he gets to look at them. I get to lift him up there and he gets to pet them. But he hasn't seen them come home, feel dressed, blood on the antlers, or, coming out of the snout. So that was one thing that I wanted to really do, not just, like you said, not just to take a picture with, to be like, hey, look at this animal that I shot. I wanted to bring it home and get the experience for my son to see that side and the process that it goes through, get that ingrained to him at a young age. And that was just one thing that kept coming into my head as I was watching your episodes.
Homie, how old are your kids?
He is 2.5. And then I'll have a newborn in November.
Good. So, man, that's awesome. I've got a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I went through a lot of deep thought about how am I going to introduce my sons to the fact that I'm taking the life of an animal. It was extremely something I was very keen to make sure I did correctly. I really thought through what's it going to mean? What am I going to say? How am I going to do it? What are they going to take away from it? And so what I did with the boys last trapping season, I started them going out with me and laying the traps, explaining what I'm doing with the traps. That we're trapping, coons and possums, explaining why we're doing it. And we're doing it to protect the quail eggs and the turkey eggs so that they can, the mothers can have babies and whatnot. And then I brought them out after a night and went on the trap line. And I knew I was going to kill a coon with them. And I'd already thought through exactly what I wanted to do. And I knew exactly where the trap was. I knew as I drove past the trap, I knew that there was an animal there. And I really didn't make a big deal of it. I got out the car, went up to the coon, shot the coon. Again, I didn't want to do it if you've done any trapping, and I don't want to assume anything from you guys, but shooting a coon in the head, it goes a little ballistic in terms of it's a visceral reaction, right? Because the nervous system goes on hyperdrive. It's instantaneously dead, but it goes on hyperdrive, and it's not a pleasant thing to look at versus a quiet heart shot, and the animal, dies because of a loss of blood pressure. And so I didn't even tell my kids what I was doing, and I shot the coon, and they got a surprise because a gunshot went off. And then I brought them over and I said, "Hey, Daddy just shot the coon," and they saw it. And then we explained and brought it out the trap and whatnot. And from then on, I was very comfortable. I then graduated to shooting it in front of them. But it was something I really thought through a lot, because you never know what that first impression is with your kids, right? And especially for me, I wanted it to be something I did right. I didn't want to make it a joking matter. I didn't want to make it a trivial matter. I wanted to make it as serious as it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I feel you there. That's kind of, we've asked this question a lot, like how'd you get your kids outdoors, or, what'd you break them in with? And I have a 3-year-old, almost 3-year-old in October, and he understands when we eat deer that I have shot the deer. You know what I mean? And for a while he wouldn't eat anything that I didn't shoot. It was weird. So we'd be having like a steak, and he'd be like, "Did you shoot this?" And I'd have to tell him yes, so he would eat it. Because trying to get a 2-year-old to 2.5-year-old to eat supper. You know what I mean? So yeah, he went through that stage, and then we asked that a lot. How'd you get your son outdoors, or what'd you do to like ease him in? And a lot of people start with small game like you did. I think that's a really good route. And I think like you did, like anybody that has trapped, when you do shoot an animal and trap, it isn't a pleasant sight, but it's something that needs to be done. You have to trap those animals to have a population of other animals, And coons and possums are huge egg eaters. I mean, I don't think people realize how many eggs they eat.
Right.
But I think you did it right, man. That give us some ideas of how, because we're going to be breaking our sons in kind of the same time, the two oldest ones.
Yeah. I'll give you a couple of other ideas that were really good. Cuz Strickland, one of the episodes that we did, gave me this idea, and it worked like a charm. So we started the two boys on daisies, right? BB guns with open sights.
Yep.
I don't want them shooting scopes. I want them shooting open sights so that they get to know open sights. Cuz Strickland said, blow up about 8 or 9 balloons and put them all together. And you then get them shooting at the balloons. And so there's a reaction to them hitting a target instead of you trying to find a hole and whatnot. And it's really, something that you can say, hey, shoot the balloon, and pop it goes. And it's a really large target as well for them to look through. So that was one really cool suggestion. And I will tell you, you will know when you get it right, because I went to dinner with my wife and the two boys, and it was coming up on my wife's birthday. This was last year. And I was trying to convince my wife that I needed to buy another gun. And
Good luck.
I was couching it that it was going to be her gun, right?
Oh, yeah.
This was her gun, and she needed a gun, and I'm explaining this to her. And our then 5-year-old turned to my wife and said, Mom, you don't have a gun? And he's got a BB gun at this stage. And she goes, no. And without any flinching, and I wish I had this recorded, but it wouldn't have been as innocent as it was. He said, how we're supposed to kill the deer?
Yeah.
And then he followed it up by saying, how are we supposed to eat?
That's cool.
And
man.
I was just like, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah, that's what you want to instill
low.
in them. Yeah, that's what you want to instill in them. And then you got the gun, didn't you? She's caved. I guarantee it.
oh yeah, no, I got the gun.
Yeah, she caved. That's what I do. I'm like, hey, go tell Mom that you want to go to this place and eat supper or something. That works every time. My wife don't listen to this, so I'm safe.
Well, Robbie, I think you've done a good job, with your trapping story that you said about that. I know the very first time that I went deer hunting, I was in 6th grade, and I just went and sat with my dad in the stand. I didn't have a gun or nothing. I was just going to, to get the experience. And he had shot a doe that morning. And I can't remember if it was still alive or if it was, suffering, and we had to get down and finish it out. But at that point in time, my dad handed me the gun, and he said, all right, now this is the time where we're going to see if you got it or if you don't. So, he said, because if you go and you shoot an animal and you need to do the right thing, you need to end the suffering. So he made me shoot that deer in the head at about 5 yards away just to, to get it over with. And then, at that point in time, I did it, and he said, all right, now you've got it in you. So I know if you go out on your own, next year, that if you come across this situation, that you're going to have the guts to do it. And, it's the right thing to do. And,
it's a hard thing to do, though. You know
is.
What I mean? Yeah, especially for someone that's not, not used to that, or there's the harsh reality of what it is, and then it's the harsh reality of what you need to do to get the meat, to get that animal.
Right. And I've only had to do it one other time, and of course it was, I think, 2 years ago when I had the wife with me.
Yeah.
Doe come in, and she just dropped, and then we sat there for 10 or 15 minutes, and I told the wife, I said, we got to get down and get this done. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? I said, if you don't want to look, just turn away, but it is hopefully it's a rare occurrence like it has been for me, but,
right.
you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
You had that episode about your wife. Has your wife hunted at all now?
No.
She has not hunted at all yet.
She has actually never fired a weapon.
Wow. I got my wife into hunting a few years ago. She kind of had the drive to go because her brothers went, but her brothers never took her. And then I ended up taking her, and she ended up shooting a nice deer, and then she doesn't really hunt very hard anymore. She doesn't like cold weather, and we got a lot of cold weather up here. You guys down in Mississippi, your rut's like 60 degrees, right?
It can get pretty cold down here, man. A lot of it's funny. A lot of the Northerners say, it doesn't get cold in Mississippi. I can tell you what. I had a girl from Minnesota come down as a PhD student of mine. She swore to me she has never been as cold as she has been in Mississippi.
It gets cold in Minnesota. I know that.
Yeah.
So
because it's so damp here, man. It's just like it gets. It's like just above freezing, and humidity is in the 60%, 70% range, and it just gets to your bones, man. It's just really damp.
Well, Robbie, there at the beginning, you talked about kind of where you've come from and kind of how you're made up as far as your father and your mother. And I know you mentioned this in, I believe it was your first episode, and it was something that really, struck me because you don't hear it very much. But what does it mean to you to be an American?
Yeah, it means everything, man. I was actually talking to a veteran earlier today, and again, I don't want to assume anything on anybody, but I think a lot of people take for granted what you guys have, what we have here in America. Given where I came from and what was available to me, or what wasn't available to me, and then you come to America and you see, what we have. It's not lost on me, and I'm proud to be an American citizen. I love everything about this country. I wish I could have done more, but I'm obviously coming here as a foreigner and now an American. But it means everything to me. I can't really say it better than that.
Yeah, just like you said there, I do think it is something that people do forget, or one place that I really see it is like at work. We have kick-ass benefits, retirement that you won't even believe, and people want to complain about the day-to-day grind, but they're not thinking about the stuff later or how lucky and fortunate we really are. And I think it's the same way with American citizenship. Like, people want to complain and talk bad about whatever it is, but there's stuff that you can do and to maybe help your situation. And I think it just gets lost, and people just want to be complaining about something.
Right.
So when your second season just came out, right? Are your 2 episodes deep or 3? 2? So
we're actually 2 episodes deep into season 2.
So what was your favorite episode of season 1? And then I'm going to tell you my favorite episode.
Man, there were good ones all across the board, right? And we went to some really cool places. I'm going to couch the answer in 2 ways. The favorite episode that I got to film was Cuz Strickland. And the reason being is that my dad was here at the time. And what nobody knows, if you look very, very carefully into the intro theatrical trailer that we have online, you won't see it in the episode. You won't see it in the episode. But my dad, probably the first and last time I hunted with my dad. And I hunted with my dad at Cuz Strickland's place. And Cuz was with us, and my dad shot a doe, and the story was incredible. He killed it. He shot it right through the heart, exploded the heart. The man hadn't shot a gun in 50 years. And that was it. That was my one and only hunt probably ever with my father. And Cuz was there to experience it with me. So from an episode filming perspective, Cuz's was my favorite. However, from an episode release perspective, my favorite is Joanna's. And the reason why I say Joanna's is because Joanna's was it was our first big swing out of left field.
Yeah, it was out there, man. I loved it. I was like, whoa, this is deep. This
It was
is out
whoa.
here.
And it was me getting mad a little bit. You know, I was like, this is a message that I want to send to people to say, this is us. You know, we're not a community of, you know, Midwestern white guys, middle-aged white guys. You know, there's a lot more behind us, and here it is. So, and Joanna's actually did better than Cousins, which is funny. It's funny and it's not, because it again just shows that
it's that taboo topic, man.
Yep.
It's that taboo topic that everybody thinks about, but no one talks about. They're like, this guy's talking about it. We gotta watch this. So,
what's your favorite, Cody?
I really liked Cousins, man. The emotion that he showed when you gave him those pictures and stuff. Man, dude,
I cannot believe he hadn't seen that picture
Yeah,
before.
I
That
know.
blew my
Dude,
mind.
I'm getting goosebumps right
yeah,
now.
I just got goosebumps
Yeah.
thinking about it too, man. It's just that episode was. I really like. I knew I knew the name, right? I knew the face because I've seen him, but I feel like I know him so much better now. You know what I mean? It's just with your films, you get to know the guy. You know, you get to see the. I don't want to say. I don't want to use the word celebrity, but that's what you see. You see the TV guy, right? You don't see the guy with his family, with his wife and kids, and the emotion that he shows. And then going way back when they first started, you know, and just hearing a little bit of that stories. Those are the guys that, like, without them, me and Homie would never film hunts. I mean, those are the guys that started that, you know. And then I really like Will Primos too, because I've followed that guy forever. That was another awesome episode, but it's hard to beat Cuz's emotion in that episode, man. I mean, that was.
Well, Cousins is interesting. Cousins was cool in that. I'll give you a little bit of behind the scenes. You know, with Cousin Will, I didn't want to capture the same story everybody had heard multiple times based on other videos or other things, right? And so I needed something to like I needed a catalyst to send them off into this other storytelling realm. And I actually worked with Cousin's daughter behind the scenes. I said to Lauren, Lauren, I need you to find me a photograph. I need a photograph that if I show Cuz to tell me what's in this photograph, it'll break him. And I'll get what I need. And what nobody knows, and that's the beauty of post-production, is that the opening scene of the episode was actually the last thing we filmed. So up until that point, we had recorded some really awesome stuff.
You cracked the shell.
I thought I didn't. I was like, man, I just didn't get it. I didn't get what I was hoping for. And so then I sat down next to him, and what you, again, if you've seen all the episodes, you don't ever hear me.
No.
In the interview, but in Cousins, it opens. You hear me in the opening because I sat down next to him and I asked him. I said, I'm going to show you a series of photographs. And I just want you to tell me the first thing that comes into your head when you see the photograph. And so that photograph that I handed over to him right away. And I told Drew, my cameraman, to really, if you have to put any shine, accolades, anything about Blood Origins, it's to my camera guy. And he edits the same thing. His name is Drew Seals. And it's a little production company called Lazy Lab Productions. He's just amazing. But
shout out to Drew.
Start recording. Yeah, shout out to Drew. Start recording. Put the record button now. And then I handed it to him, and it just was like, boom.
Yeah, it was incredible,
and we've got
man.
Stuff that we haven't even released that was also just as incredible.
Man, yeah, it would be hard to go through, but yeah, that episode, dude, I was like, oh man, this is it. This is what we all do, but never show. This is us. And that's like you said, it's in the blood. I think it's in everybody's. It's in everybody's blood. But just like you say, people don't show that stuff. It's like whether they're scared, because they don't want to let that out, the personal stuff out, or whatnot. But
yep,
I dig it, man. And shout out to Drew because him. the story and the emotion was awesome, but then the way you guys film it with the music that you add in, I mean, that just gets you even more like on the edge. You're like, I don't even know what I'm watching right now, but it's awesome. And like you said, you like to push the limits on how you film to kind of get that edgy feel. I don't know what type of I was like I was telling homie about your stuff, you know, and I was like, I can't tell you what style of film he does. You just have to watch it because there's not like a category for it, you know.
Yeah, I would say, passion, cinematography, drama, intimacy, connectedness. I want somebody to be drawn into that phone, the iPad, the computer, wherever you're watching it, right? I want you to, from the first time you see that person's face, I want you not to want to sort of look away, right? You're just like mesmerized because we get close, we look at eyes, we look at mouths, we look, we shift the image left and right. And I will say this: I can't take complete credit for the way that we filmed, because I was inspired by a documentary platform called I Am Second. Have you ever heard of I Am Second?
No, I haven't.
When you get off this podcast with me, and I'm going to warn you now, you open up. The first I Am Second you're going to open up is, what's his name? Hamilton, I think it's his last name. He's a pitcher for the Texas Rangers. I Am Second is a in-your-face Christian testimonial documentary. And I'm going to see if I can find it very quickly as I Google on my phone. Josh Hamilton, I Am Second. When you get off this podcast, you're going to watch it, okay?
Okay.
And when you watch it, you're going to want to watch another one. You're going to want to watch another one. You're going to want to watch another one. And that's what I wanted to capture with Blood Origins, is that it was this. You'll see the way that they film it is exactly how we film. It's in your face.
Yeah.
And it's a storytelling documentary about Christian testimonies, about people and how they came to faith and how they came to love the Lord Jesus Christ. But anyway, Cousins was awesome, man. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Love Joanne. I love them all, man. They're all my babies.
Oh, yeah.
And I get really nervous. Going into an interview because I don't know what I'm going to get. And Drew laughed at me all the time. He said, man, why are you so nervous? I said, because I'm not in control of this.
Yeah.
It's like it's all on that person. And then once we finish the episode in the cutting room and we watch it, and it's just like, oh, it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
People are going to love it.
Same thing about like this podcast. Every time we have someone on, or an in-studio guest, we're always like, man, we gotta get this right. You gotta make sure everything's going good. And you get that nervous, and then about 10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going. This is good. This is good. You just get those jitters because you're trying to produce something for people, to enjoy.
Right.
So.
Right.
I really liked Paulie's episode. Yep.
Holly's is good.
Yeah, just because it was so different, obviously she's a woman, and then she wasn't taught by her dad or her grandpa, she was taught by her mom, and it seemed like one thing that was really instilled into her was, conservation. And, I thought that was really important. And to be honest, Paulie just looks like a stone cold killer.
Yeah.
You don't
want to mess with Paulie, man.
Right.
Right
she'll shoot your ass at 100 yards.
So Paulie is awesome, man. I'll give you a couple of tidbits about Paulie. Paulie was actually a student of mine when I was a professor at Mississippi State. So we stayed in touch. She is really, really, really staunch conservationist. She actually sits on the Wildlife Conservation Committee for Safari Club International. Her mother, you get a little bit of this in the episode, but her mother is a stone cold turkey killing machine. Like Lynch, I don't know if you've ever heard of a turkey call called the Lynch, Mike Lynch's Foolproof. It's a box called Foolproof. lynch box calls. That lynch box call, the foolproof, was actually used to be called the Miss Polly. Miss Polly is Polly Anderson, Polly's mother,
Wow.
because she could run that box call, and she said it. She would put it behind her back and show Mike and say, look, it's foolproof.
So that's how they got the name, huh?
That's it.
Nice.
That's it.
I hope I get to a
Yeah,
day
you
where I
get
can
cool
run the
stories, man.
Yeah, you get to hear all the cool stories, man. One thing I will say is, like, you were saying, like, you try to, like, you want people to keep watching episode after episode after episode. I got a couple examples of that. I was like, I've watched some of them, but since I'm going to have them on, I'm going to brush up again, go all the way back from season 1. So I got a 3-year-old screaming, running around. I'm rocking a baby, a 3-month-old, and I'm like 4 episodes deep already, and I'm like, holy smokes, I'm like, what time is it? And then I messaged Homie a while back, and I was like, man, you got to check this guy out. And I'm then messaging back, maybe 2 or 3 hours later, and I was like, what do you think of him? He's like, I watched the whole first season. This is awesome. I was like, oh, yeah. So you're caught up already. But, yeah, I was super stoked when I seen that your second season was coming out.
Just when, just what we're doing here with the podcast, and we're going to have somebody on. So, just like Cody said, we try to do our research, try to get stuff to talk about. I go into thinking blood origins. I'm like, okay, we're going to just murder and everything, and it's totally not that. So, I did the first episode. I'm like, all right, next one, we're going to be hammering something, and then, I'm just waiting for it. And then, it never comes. And I'm like, man, dude, now my brain is just thinking of all these different things, the meaning of hunting and, what it means to me, what I want to do with my kids, it immediately just turned 180 degrees.
It makes you think more than any other hunting or hunting-related videos. Like, you're sitting there after an episode, you're like, wow, man. I mean, there's so many questions that were asked by myself when I was watching this that I can't answer, then you got to think about it. And even if the guy answers on there, you're like, well, I mean, that's a solid answer, but is that how I hunt? Is that what I want to do? It really makes you think, like, just like you're saying, you're filming out of the box. So you're thinking, like, you're way out there, like, man, this is extreme stuff.
No matter how far you put that screen in front of your face, their face on the screen never gets any farther away.
All right, so we've been talking about being outside the box. Season 2's out. So kind of, if you want to give a little sneak peek to the listeners of what they might have, in the future to watch.
Yeah. We don't like to give much of our secrets away because I think that's the beauty about Blood Origins is you never know what's coming, right? You never know if it's going to be a really famous person or a complete unknown, or even, and from a season 2 perspective, you don't even know if the next episode is actually even going to be a hunter. So we obviously launched with Jason Hairston, the CEO and founder of QU. A lot of the deer hunting audience may not know about QU, but mountain hunting apparel company specifically tied to, adventure sheep hunting. Incredible guy, incredibly passionate about sheep hunting, the sport, the adventure of it. It was an incredible episode. We've got some epic B-roll in there, but unfortunately we didn't shoot that B-roll. Somebody else did.
Yeah,
but the landscapes are just incredible, right?
that video.
Can you imagine hunting in that landscape?
Oh man, it's epic. I was telling Homie, I'm like, just to travel there and hang out would be incredible. Let alone hunt.
Yeah, no, we did not go there. We went to Southern California, and we filmed him in his office in QU. And I think that's an important point that maybe your listeners don't know about, is that one of the elements that makes Blood Origins, I feel, makes the stories as authentic as we possibly can make them, is that we film the story in the place that is meaningful to that storyteller. And I'm not going to sacrifice that element of Blood Origins. even though it's costing me an arm and a leg right now. But it's part of the story. So for Jason, we talked about filming it in the Yukon or filming it on a mountain. But then he started talking about how passionate he was about QU and his company and what he had done with the company. And I said, it sounds like your passion is in your company. Why don't we just film it in your office? And he loved the idea. But every other episode is filmed in a place that is very meaningful to that individual. Funnily enough, season 1, my episode, we couldn't film it in Africa, so we recreated Africa. So that's why we did the fire scene. We recreated Africa essentially in Stone County, Mississippi. But yeah, season 2, we are definitely wanting to push the envelope of diversity, of the variety of stories, and surprise people with some stories that come from non-hunters. So episode 2 was my wife. My wife does not hunt. My wife has never shot a weapon. But it's important to hear from a non-hunting individual what their perspective is of hunting. And this is something important to realize when you watch her episode and you watch future non-hunting episodes, which we have coming in season 2, some of which are very famous individuals that you have seen but have never heard of. In that we're not asking a non-hunter why they accept hunting or why they're okay with hunting. Rather, we're asking that non-hunter what their perspective is on hunting. And that perspective is going to be shaped by the hunter that is in their lives. And so my wife's perspective is shaped by me and how I hunt and what hunting means to me. I will say that we have stories about ranching and conservation. We have stories about a lady that was potentially going to be a field trialing champion that got put in a wheelchair because of Lyme disease. We are going to have a Pakistani American, first generation Pakistani American, who is the most avid duck hunter that you will find. And he lives in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah. That's diverse.
Right.
And then we're going to end the season. We've already let the cat out the bag a little bit. We're going to end the season with Jim Shockey.
Yeah, I see. I was thinking that. I seen that in one of your Facebook posts. You had a pic of him on there, and I was thinking he was coming. I'm excited about that, man. That guy's a legend. You know what I mean? Definite legend. Did you?
Definite legend.
You get to hang out with him for quite a while then, and have you filmed it yet, or?
Yeah, we filmed it. We went up to Vancouver Island, and hell of a story. Hell of a story.
That's
Great guy.
incredible.
Met his family. Just met his whole team. His whole team was incredible. And we filmed it right there in his backyard. Not his backyard, but backyard Vancouver Island. That's the place that's meaningful to him.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get these new episodes. So when do you release episodes? Is it just
we try to release episode every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
So we try to drop a little piece of content every 2 weeks. In between those 2 weeks, in season 2, you're going to see some additional content. And I'm actually going to use your podcast, if you don't mind, as a sort of call to action. We started this podcast talking about me sort of issuing a challenge to you guys. You guys are about to start filming. And obviously your audience, a lot of your audience, well, I would say every person in your audience has an iPhone that they can film with. Some of them may be doing their own film.
Yeah, actually, a lot of them are. It's insane how many comments we get about, questions and stuff. A lot of, what was that poll we seen? 90% of hunters take a video camera into the woods.
I think Jordan, it was on Jordan's episode. He said over 85% of people, to 85% of hunters take a camera.
Take some kind of filming device. Right. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what I would ask is, next time everybody's going out in the woods and hunting, Blood Origins is looking for content. We're looking for 5 to 15-second clips that demonstrates what hunting means to you. We don't need audio. We just want the visual. We want the visual of what hunting means to you. Maybe it's you staring at a sunset and admiring the sunset. Maybe it's you chasing your boy across a field. Maybe it's you working your dog. Maybe it's you training with a backpack because you're about to go on a big elk hunt in the West. We want good hunting content about what hunting means to you. I do not want kill shots. I don't want grip and grins. I want everything but that. And the reason being is that, and I don't know when this podcast is going to drop, but next week we're dropping a piece of content that we have filmed specifically for season 2. And every episode will have it. And you will see in this piece of content, we wrap into or underneath this montage of what hunting means to that individual. And so it's going to be an exceptional piece of content. And I think what that content is going to do is it's going to connect with so many people because it explains to somebody from a viewpoint of one of our episodes why the Blood Origins Project is important to the hunting community. And embedded within that response is this montage of video content.
Yeah, I seen you release. You released that on your Facebook page, right? Where you said you were looking for content. Was that Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, both.
But yeah, I seen that, and then I got a short video of my oldest son walking up on a shed that we found on public ground, and I was gonna chop it up and send it in to you. That's like the most memorable moment that I have in the outdoors now, is him finding, a really nice shed with me and how excited he was. I put him down and there was no prompts at all. I go, "What'd you find?" He goes, "I found a monster shed." I was like, that was perfect response, I figured he's going to say, "I found it." Yeah, I'll send it. And I'll hook up with you on Instagram and chop that up for you a little bit and send it. So
Perfect. But yeah, everybody out there, whoever's listening to send it, man. We'll obviously have my details at the end of this podcast, but it's just a way to showcase us as a community. And I think the vision that we have for what we're trying to produce, and we'll tag everybody in it, so everybody will be acknowledged for their content under our platform. We're not just going to be asking for people's content and not acknowledging their content. But it shows, and I like that idea of tagging the people in the actual content, because then you see these different people from different places, from the UK, from South Africa, from Australia, from all across America, and all of their footage is side by side.
That's
going to
be
be about
sweet.
what hunting means to them.
That's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Fine. Well, go ahead and let the people know where they can find Blood Origin episodes, and then any contact information you want to give to our listeners. I just got to shout out one guy on this episode. So the reason I found you was I found Blood Origins was we became friends just because of this podcast with a guy from Mississippi named Justin Duncan. The guy is incredible. He's hilarious. He's become a guy that we text every day. The dude he's outrageous. He's just like, he just loves life, always happy. But I think he Snapchatted us one of your videos. He's like, "I'm so excited about this release," because he's from Mississippi. So right. I checked it out, but I just wanted to shout him out before we ended it, because he's the reason that we're having this podcast now. He don't even know it, but if he would have never sent that Snapchat, I may have found you, I may not have found you. It's funny how stuff plays out, and now we have an awesome friendship, and now hopefully a friendship with you. At least I'm going to be following you, so I get to hear the backstories, and that all started from a Snapchat,
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to shout Justin out. But go ahead and hit him with where they can find the episodes and what contact information.
Well, I appreciate Justin, too. He's interacted with me on Facebook, too, so I'll give him a shout-out, too. I think Justin is trying to do something similar. He's also passionate about storytelling, so shout out to him. Yeah, so anywhere, you just type in Blood Origins, at Blood Origins on Instagram, at Blood Origins on Facebook, bloodorigins.com, Blood Origins on YouTube. We've got the corner market on Blood Origins.
Nice. Yeah. We'll make sure and share all those quick links when we release the episode, and then what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably share Cuz's episode a couple days before we release this, because that, I mean, I don't know if someone doesn't like that episode. I have no idea how you can't be human and not like that. You know what I mean? So, but when you want them to send those video clips to Instagram and Facebook Messenger and stuff like that, or?
No, actually, if they could go to the website, they'll connect us into the web. They'll connect us into my email address, and but they can reach out to us on Facebook, on Instagram, and from there, what we'll do is we'll just exchange email addresses to get high resolution videos. But yeah, any content that anybody has, send it, man, because this idea is a crazy idea, but for it to work, and Cody, I'm going to use you as an example. For it to work, I need people to send us the content.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, I got you.
Step one.
Yeah, I mean, I think like maybe hearing this podcast, you know, I think like me, I was like, I could send this in, but you don't like, is this really what this guy's wanting, or you know what, you know, is he going to use it? But yeah, step one, I want to send that.
Just send it.
I'm on it. That's kind of our motto on this podcast is just send it. So we'll be shouting that out to send some clips. I think you'll get a few from some podcast close friends that we've got from there. So
awesome. That'll be great.
All right, man. We can't thank you enough for coming on. This has been one of the top episodes we've ever done. It's probably number one. I mean, this has been a lot of fun, man. We got deep, man. We got deep, but I like that, and that's kind of that's your style, man. You like to get deep and get in there and get the emotion out, you know. And you're good at it. You got the emotion out of me, man. That's hard to do. so
yeah, we've got a friend of mine down here in Mississippi. His name's DC Rogers. He's the co-owner of a company called Ren and Ivy. He's like, man, Robbie, why are you so serious all the time? And I said, I'm not, but when it comes to this topic, man, somebody has to be serious. You know, somebody has to take the bull by the horns and be passionate about it and just, you know, and just drive to the core of who we are. That's what the project's about, man. So thank you, guys. Thank you for reaching out. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's well past my bedtime. But again, thank you for reaching out. Stay in touch. Yeah, just thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, guys. We love you. Keep hitting that play button. Whitetail Legacy out.